What's up with it? You watching the Bay Bomber TV. And yeah, we about to check out this video from the YouTube channel Rap Dynasty. And the title is Key Glock Speaks. Shout out to his party was shot up the other night. Yeah, man, that's a fool with it, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm kind of thinking that video could have been like some editing or something, man. Because if the incident happened, man, it really ain't no official reports of the incident, man. To be honest, man, after analyzing the video or whatever, man, I kind of peeped that real listening parties, man, they actually got like the posters and stuff on the wall, you know what I mean? Project X logo and everything, man. But then like the footage where they talk about the incident happened, man, it ain't none of that on the wall, man. So I'm thinking, man, they probably did do some video edits to make it seem like something happened, but man, it ain't no official reports of this happening, man. But another scenario is, man, they could be hiding a situation to protect the album rollout or whatever, man. But yeah, man, personally, man, I don't think no high profile incident like that'll go under the radar, man. So yeah, man, I'm not saying the incident ain't true, but I'm saying it might be a rumor though, man, for real. But yeah, man, I haven't checked out the video. Don't completely know what they talking about, but let's check it out and see what they talking about.
You know, y'all like to be in everybody beat and want to be in everything but a casket. So why ain't nobody talking about the shootout that happened at Key Glock album release party last night? Inquiring minds want to know. And y'all pay close attention, because whatever homie was saying in Key Glock era, that shit had to be top secret, some very important shit. That shit had to be G14 classified. And before y'all say I'm lying, here go the footage.
Key Glock's party got shot up last night, and there's a clip going around right now of Hernandez GOVAN, the same Hernandez GOVAN from the Young Dolph case, sitting back asking the internet why nobody's talking about it. That's the story, and I'm not going to make you wait for it. A voice on a recording. Y'all want to be in everything but a casket, then turning around and saying, why ain't nobody talking about the shootout at Key Glock's release party last night? Inquiring minds want to know. And then, and this is the part that's got Memphis on fire, he says whatever Glock was saying on that album, whatever bars homie was spitting, that had to be top secret. G14 classified, top secret. Let that marinate for a second. You know who?
I ain't gonna lie, man. I could say, man, they could be starting this rumor to make people scared to go to his listening parties, man. You know what I mean? This really can be a play to mess up Key Glock momentum, man. As far as the listening parties, man, it seems like the people been loving the music, man.
Who talks like that? Somebody who knows something. Somebody who's not guessing. Somebody who's lived close enough to the fire to know exactly what kind of smoke comes off it. And that's why this little clip, a minute and a half of a man asking a question, has the whole city, the whole culture sitting up straight because of WHO's asking, because of where he sits in the bloodiest chapter Memphis rap has ever lived through, because the last time this man's name was in the air, a jury had just set him free in the murder of one of the most beloved figures this city ever produced. So when that man pops up smiling, asking why nobody's talking about Glock's party getting lit up, gang, that's not a question, that's a message. And tonight I'm breaking down every layer of it, the real and the rumor, what we can prove and what we can't, and why this clip matters whether or not a single shot was ever fired. Y'all need to hear this one all the way through. But before anybody runs out the door screaming somebody got killed, pump your brakes, because I keep it 100 with y'all. And keeping it 100 means I gotta tell you what's confirmed and what's just the streets talking. So let's break it down for real. And here's the real tea, and I'm putting it on the table first, so don't nobody twist my words. As of me making this, there is no police report. There's no Memphis PD statement. There's no Fox 13, no WREG, no commercial appeal article saying Key Glock's release party got shot up and bodies hit the floor. The only thing that exists is that clip, that voice, those words, that energy. So if you came here for a death count, I'm not selling you that, because that ain't real, and I don't do fake news. Real recognize real, and that matters, fam.
And I ain't gonna lie, man, you can look at the clip. Them official parties is way more clean, man. When they talk about the incident happened, man, it look kind of like a hole in the wall, like a little raggedy joint a little bit.
Because this ain't the first time Key Glock's name got dragged into a fake shooting story. Go back a month, May 2026. The whole internet damn near buried this man alive over a clickbait YouTube video titled like a breaking news alert, claiming Glock got gunned down in South Memphis. It racked up tens of thousands of views in a night. Facebook ran with it. X ran with it. Damn, they killed Key Glock. People were typing it like gospel, and it was a lie. Wasn't no police report then either. The man was literally posting new music on his story hours before the rumor caught fire. So when I see a news story about Glock in a shooting, the first thing I do, and the first thing you should do, is ask who said it, where's the proof, and who benefits. That's not me doubting the streets. That's me respecting you enough not to feed you a story I can't stand on. So that's the lane we're driving in tonight. The clip is real. The man on it is real. The history behind it is real, documented, and bloody. The shootout itself, unconfirmed. And the gap between real clip and unconfirmed shooting, that gap is the whole story, because somebody, somewhere, wants you to fill that gap in your own head. Let me show you how we got to a place where a man like GOVAN can post 15 words and shake an entire culture. To understand why this clip hits like a brick, you gotta go all the way back to November 17th, 2021, because everything, and I mean everything, that's happening right now traces back to that one afternoon. Young Dolph, Adolph Thornton Jr., the Memphis legend, the man who turned down every major deal that came knocking because he wanted to own himself, build his own label, paper route empire, and put on his own people, independent to the bone. A whole generation of Memphis kids watched this man stack up off his own catalog, no major puppet strings, and they learned what freedom looked like. And on that November day, Dolph wasn't on tour, wasn't in some far-off city. He was home. He was at Makita's Homemade Cookies, a little bakery in his old neighborhood, the kind of spot a man only goes when he feels safe, when he feels like he's among his people. He went to grab cookies, and two men walked up and turned that storefront into a crime scene in broad daylight. The whole hip-hop world stopped breathing. Now, here's where you got to understand the family tree, because the media flattens it, and I'm not going to do that to y'all. Key Glock, real name Markevius Cathy, wasn't just some artist Dolph signed. That was his cousin. That was his mentor. Dolph signed Glock to Paper Route Empire back in 2017 and basically handed him the blueprint. They made joint tapes together. Dumb and Dumber, the sequel, Project's fans still rinse to this day. They were on the road together for months at a time, under the same roof, laughing, building. When Dolph died, Glock didn't just lose a boss. He lost the closest thing he had to a big brother. He went silent, couldn't record, sat in the grief. He said it himself in interviews. He had to sit still and let time do what time does. So keep that in your chest as we move forward, because every reaction Glock has had since then comes from that. Well, that's not industry beef to him, that's blood. And understand the weight of what Glock inherited. Paper Route Empire wasn't no vanity label. That was Dolph's life's work, the whole proof of concept that a Memphis artist could go independent, turn down the majors, and still stack plaques and sell out arenas off his own catalog. When Dolph fell, that whole movement could have died with him. Instead, it landed on the shoulders of a young man who was still figuring out how to grieve. Glock had to mourn his cousin and carry his cousin's empire at the same damn time. Picture that. Picture losing your big brother and getting handed the keys to everything he built in the same breath. That's a pressure most people will never understand, and Glock's been carrying it in public with the whole world watching to see if he'd crack. He didn't. He doubled down. He kept Dolph's name ringing in every interview, kept building. So when I tell you this man's reactions come from a deep place, believe it. He's not performing pain. He's living in it while running an empire his murdered cousin left behind. That's the foundation. A murdered legend, a grieving little cousin who inherited the kingdom, and a label full of people who all knew the men responsible were still walking around free. Now let me show you how the case turned into a circus, and where Hernandez Govan walks onto the stage. And here's where it gets crazy. The investigation into Dolph's murder didn't stay quiet. Names started dropping like dominoes, and each one pulled the curtain back on something uglier than the last. First, the shooters. Justin Johnson, known in the streets as Straight Drop, got convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy. They sent that man away for life plus 35 years. His appeal got heard and denied. He's not coming home.
Man sentenced to life in prison for killing young Dolph gets 35 more years tacked onto his sentence, meaning Justin Johnson could be in his 70s before he's even considered for parole.
That's confirmed, that's done, that's on record. Then there's Cornelius Smith Jr., the other man who admitted he was in that car, admitted he pulled up on Dolph that day. Smith flipped. He became the state's witness, sat on the stand, and started naming names. And just this past May 15th, 2026, Smith took a plea deal, copped to second-degree murder, and got 20 years. The state dropped his bigger charges because he cooperated. There was even a third man, Jermarcus Johnson, who took a plea as an accomplice. So that's the trigger end of this thing, all accounted for. But that's just the beginning, though, because in the streets and in that courtroom, everybody knew the shooters were the bottom of the pyramid. The question that kept Memphis up at night was who sent them, who paid, who pointed, and that's the question that put two more names in the center of the storm. Names that sit a whole lot higher up the food chain. Name number one, Anthony Mims. You might know him as Big Jook. And here's the detail that turns this from a street story into a culture-wide earthquake. Big Jook was the brother of Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti, the head of CMG, one of the biggest moguls to ever come out of Memphis. According to testimony in this case, Big Jook was the one who allegedly ordered and financed the hit on Dolph. Why? The streets and the court testimony point to a rivalry that went back years. Dolph refusing to sign with Gotti's camp, choosing independence over the machine, and that no festering into something deadly. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Big Jook never saw a courtroom for it. In January 2024, Big Jook himself was shot and killed outside a Memphis restaurant.
Sources close to the family of Yo Gotti confirmed the man killed outside a Hickory Hill event center is Gotti's brother. Memphis police identified him as 47-year-old Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook.
Gunned down before he could ever be charged. So the man at the top of the alleged pyramid got erased from the board before the law could touch him. The streets call that balance. The law calls that an unsolved problem. Either way, that's a body that closed a door. And that leaves us with name number 2. The middleman, the connector, the alleged glue between the money and the murder, Hernandez Govan. Now here's where people really started connecting dots. So pay attention because this is the heart of why that clip means what it means. The state's theory was that Hernandez Govan, they call him Quet in the streets, was the orchestrator, the middleman who allegedly set the whole thing up for a cut. The number that came out in court was a $10,000 piece for organizing the hit. The prosecution painted him as the man who connected Big Jook's alleged order to the shooters who carried it out. That's a heavy, heavy accusation. First-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, the kind of charges that bury a man for the rest of his natural life. So they brought him to trial in August 2025.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I really don't like GOVAN, man, but gotta be honest though, man. He kept his G up in that courtroom, man. He ain't say nothing, man. So when it come down to it, man, sticking to the code definitely worked, man. But to be honest, man, as far as Key Glock, man, I don't even think Dolph wanted him involved in this situation, man. GOVAN really is connected to some dudes that be pushing false narratives, man, and know how to manipulate the YouTube algorithm, man, for real. So yeah, man, I think GOVAN can be picking that Key Glock, man. A fake story like this could mess up his momentum, you know what I mean? Like he having listening parties and people supposedly shooting it up, man. You gonna go to them listening parties, man? Is it worth it to you? You know what I mean? So yeah, man, they really could be trying to throw him off for real.
And the streets thought this was the one. This was gonna be the closure. This was gonna be the day Memphis finally watched somebody high up answer for Dolph. The prosecution rolled out their case. They put up 8 witnesses. Dolph's own sister, his head of security, the lead investigator, digital forensics guys. They pointed to phone records showing GOVAN was in contact with the shooters after the murder. They pointed to a white Mercedes, the car tied to the killing, that turned up at an abandoned house right across the street from where GOVAN lived on Bradley Street. They even had a picture from a music video showing GOVAN in that same driveway.
We, the jury, found the defendant Hernandez Govan not guilty in count 1 of the indictment. State of Tennessee versus Hernandez Govan, count 2. We, the jury, found the defendant Hernandez Govan not guilty in count 2 of the indictment.
The jury foreman went on TV afterward and said it plain. It wasn't about what was there. It was about what wasn't there. He said the state's star witness got contradicted by his own statements over and over, and that a case like that maybe never should have gone to trial in the first place. And GOVAN, he wiped away tears in that courtroom, walked outside and told the cameras, "Thank you to the jury for getting this right and getting my life back. I knew in my heart I was innocent. I'm just happy to be free." He even said he might leave Memphis altogether. So sit with the picture now. The shooters are convicted or copped out. The alleged money man is dead in the street. And the alleged middleman walked out the front door of that courthouse a free man. Legally innocent. Cleared on all counts. The man the state said connected the whole thing. Gone. Free. Untouchable on those charges thanks to double jeopardy. That's the board as it stands. And the city of Memphis felt that verdict like a gut punch. This is where the street been talking, so let me break down why a clip of GOVAN asking about Glock's party hits different than it would coming from anybody else. When that not guilty verdict dropped in August 2025, Key Glock didn't hold his tongue. He went to social media and posted 4 words that said everything. "My city failed," then deleted it. Like Glock's albums are dropping clues that only certain people can decode. And given everything we just laid out, given that Glock publicly said, "My city failed the day this man walked free," the subtext writes itself. This is two figures on opposite ends of the bloodiest case in Memphis rap history, and one of them just got on camera being cryptic about the other one's party getting shot up. That's why it's spreading.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. That's how we know it might be Cap, man. GOVAN might be using them internet tactics, man. Trying to throw Key Glock off, man, because he going up, man, for real. And his new album, man, he building a big buzz, man, and it's kind of highly anticipated, for real. So, yeah, man, with this coming from GOVAN, man, got to take this with a grain of salt, man. As far as the alleged scene from the party getting popped up or whatever, man, there wasn't no banners on the wall, wasn't no Project X or nothing on the wall, man. So I don't think that was an official listening party, man. If you look at one of the scenes from his real listening parties, man, the listening party's way cleaner though, man. Look like a cleaner environment and everything, man. So yeah, man, as far as that footage, somebody had to edit that or something, man. And yeah, man, GOVAN definitely been colliding with dudes that be clickbaiting and making up stories, fabricating and stuff, man. So yeah, man, I'm thinking he probably just playing the internet, man. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Y'all think the incident really happened, man? I'm kind of starting to think that it didn't really, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, you watching the Baby Mama TV. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Until next time.